Greetings, one and all. Welcome back to another episode of Whatever Happened To, the series where we take a where are they now look at players who found success in the National Hockey League but are no longer permanent fixtures in the league, either due to controversy, poor play, or just rotten luck. In today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at a 2-time Stanley Cup champion, a 4-time Lady Byng Trophy winner, a 3-time Selke Trophy winner, and one of the NHL's top 100 players in history. As we ask, whatever happened to Pavel Datsyuk? After going undrafted in the 1996 and 1997 NHL entry drafts, Pavel Datsyuk was selected 171st overall in the 1998 draft by the Detroit Red Wings. Datsyuk then spent the next 3 seasons playing in the Russian Super League, split between Dynamo Yekaterinburg and AK Bars Kazan, where he scored 57 points in 79 regular season games and 11 points in 13 playoff games. After spending the last 5 seasons in Russia's top league, the NHL was about to come knocking. The 01-02 season saw Datsyuk join the Detroit Red Wings roster as the Russian youngster looked to find a place in the best league in the world. The former 6th round pick had a good rookie season in the NHL, as he put up 11 goals and 24 assists for 35 points in 70 games. Datsyuk also got his first taste of NHL playoff action, and he put up 6 points in 21 playoff games as Detroit took the finals in 5 games and clinched the Stanley Cup. Just like that, Datsyuk had won hockey's greatest prize in just his first season in the league, but his best was still yet to come. The 02-03 NHL season saw Datsyuk improve on his rookie season numbers the year prior, as he scored 12 goals and 39 assists for 51 points in a sophomore season limited to just 64 games due to a knee injury. Whilst the defending Stanley Cup champions would return to the playoffs, Datsyuk was held pointless in 4 games as the Red Wings were swept in the first round by the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. The 03-04 NHL season saw Datsyuk become a key point producer for the Red Wings as he potted 30 goals and 38 assists for 68 points in 75 games. This production was good enough to get Datsyuk invited to his first of 4 NHL All-Star games as a member of the Western Conference team. Datsyuk also put up 6 assists in 12 playoff games, but the Red Wings were eliminated in the second round by the Calgary Flames. Datsyuk had showed steady improvement since he joined the league 3 seasons ago and was ready to become one of the top players in the league. But first, there was a lockout. During the 04-05 lockout, Pavel Datsyuk was technically a restricted free agent since his entry-level contract in the NHL had expired, so he decided to sign a 1-year contract back in the Russian Super League and spend his season with Dynamo Moscow. Datsyuk had a strong season back in his home country as he notched 15 goals and 17 assists for 32 points in 47 games. He also scored 9 points in 10 playoff games as Moscow beat Lada in the finals and clinched the Russian Super League championship. Once the season was over though, Datsyuk returned to North America. After his entry-level contract with Detroit ended after the 03-04 season, and without the need to negotiate an extension immediately due to the lockout, on September 19, 2005, Datsyuk signed a 2-year, $7.8 million contract to remain with the Red Wings. After finding his feet in the league, Datsyuk was now beginning to get paid like an up-and-coming superstar should, and the former 6th round pick was about to show the money was well spent. The 05-06 NHL season saw Datsyuk score at over a point per game pace for the first time in his career, as the Russian centre potted 28 goals and 59 assists for 87 points in 79 games, establishing himself as one of the top players in the league. This effort was good enough to help Datsyuk earn his first of 4 Lady Byng Memorial Trophies, which is given to the player who best exhibits sportsmanship and gentlemanly conduct combined with a high standard of playing ability. Datsyuk also scored 3 points in 5 playoff games as the Red Wings returned to the playoffs for the 4th consecutive season since Datsyuk had joined the team, but Detroit were eliminated in the first round by the Edmonton Oilers. The 06-07 NHL season saw Datsyuk put up almost identical stats to the season prior, as he notched 27 goals and 60 assists for 87 points in 79 games. This production was good enough to help Detroit return to the playoffs again, where Datsyuk scored 16 points in 18 games, but Detroit were eliminated in the conference finals by the Anaheim Ducks. With the 2-year contract extension he signed after the lockout expired, the Red Wings knew that they had to lock up their superstar long-term before any other team got the chance to in free agency. So, on the 6th of April 2007, Detroit signed Datsyuk to a 7-year, $46.9 million contract extension worth an average annual value of $6.7 million a season. Just like that, Datsyuk had been given the contract of his career, but his best hockey was on the horizon. The 07-08 NHL season saw Datsyuk immediately pay dividends on his new contract, as the Russian forward scored 31 goals and 66 assists for 97 points in 82 games, setting career highs in assists, points and games played in a season. This stellar season helped Datsyuk earn several individual awards, such as his first of 3 Frank J. Selke trophies, which is awarded to the best defensive forward, the NHL Plus Minus award, his 3rd Lady Byng trophy, and his 2nd trip to the All-Star game. These numbers were also good enough to help Detroit make the playoffs once again, where Datsyuk had a career-high 23 points in 22 games, as the Red Wings clinched another Stanley Cup victory in a 6-game final series for the team's 2nd cup in 6 seasons. Just like that, Pavel Datsyuk had joined a prestigious group of players to win multiple Stanley Cup championships and was on the top of his game. But the Magic Man's dominance in the league didn't stop there. The 08-09 NHL season saw Datsyuk have almost identical numbers to his last season, as the former 6th round pick scored 32 goals and 65 assists for 97 points in 81 games, setting his career high for goals scored in a season. Datsyuk would once again be given a plethora of awards, such as his 4th and final Lady Byng trophy, his 2nd Selke trophy, his 3rd NHL All-Star appearance, and his only appearance on the NHL's 2nd All-Star team. This production would help Detroit return to the postseason once more, but the defending Stanley Cup champions were eliminated in 7 games in the Stanley Cup Finals by the Pittsburgh Penguins, the team they beat in the finals the year prior. 1 win away from back-to-back cups, that must suck. The 09-10 NHL season saw Datsyuk's point production dip noticeably, as the Russian forward scored 27 goals and 43 assists for 70 points in 80 games. Despite the dip in production, Datsyuk still took home some silverware as he received his last of 4 Selke trophies for being the best defensive forward in the league. These totals were still good enough though to help Detroit make yet another appearance in the postseason, where Datsyuk put up 13 points in 12 games, but the Red Wings were eliminated in the 2nd round by the San Jose Sharks. The 10-11 NHL season saw Datsyuk return to his over point per game pace once again, as he potted 23 goals and 36 assists for 59 points in a season limited to just 56 games due to injury. Datsyuk also scored 15 points in 11 playoff games for Detroit, but the Red Wings were eliminated in the 2nd round, once again by the San Jose Sharks. The 11-12 NHL season saw a somewhat healthier Datsyuk notch 19 goals and 48 assists for 67 points in 70 games. He also added 3 points in 5 playoff games as Detroit made the postseason for the 21st consecutive season, but they were eliminated in the 1st round by the Nashville Predators. The 12-13 NHL season began in a lockout, and similarly to the league's previous lockout, Datsyuk returned to the Russian motherland. This time though, he signed with CSKA Moscow of the KHL. Datsyuk had a strong showing with the Army men as he put up 11 goals and 25 assists for 36 points in 31 games before the lockout ended and the NHL season began. Datsyuk carried his strong play in Russia with him to Detroit as he scored 15 goals and 34 assists for 49 points in 47 games during the lockout-shortened season. This production was good enough to help Detroit return to the playoffs, where Datsyuk put up 9 points in 14 games, but the Red Wings were eliminated in the 2nd round by the Chicago Blackhawks. The 13-14 NHL season saw Datsyuk have his worst regular season totals in the NHL since his rookie season, as the aging forward only scored 17 goals and 20 assists for 37 points. However, his season was limited to just 45 games due to injuries. Detroit would once again make the playoffs, where Datsyuk would notch 5 points in 5 games, but the Red Wings were eliminated in the 1st round by the Boston Bruins. After his 7-year contract had expired, and despite him approaching the twilight years of his career, Datsyuk still remained a productive player on the Red Wings roster. So, on June 18th, 2013, the Red Wings signed the 36-year-old Datsyuk to a 3-year, $22.5 million contract extension worth an average annual value of $7.5 million a season. The 14-15 NHL season saw Datsyuk bounce back from an injury-riddled season the year prior, as he potted 26 goals and 39 assists for 65 points in 63 games. He also scored 5 points in 7 playoff games, but the Red Wings were eliminated in the first round of the playoffs by the Tampa Bay Lightning. The 15-16 NHL season saw a dip in Datsyuk's point production compared to his previous season, as he notched 16 goals and 33 assists for 49 points in 66 games. Detroit would return to the playoffs for the 25th consecutive season, but Datsyuk would be held pointless in 5 games as the Red Wings were eliminated in the first round once again by the Tampa Bay Lightning. However, this would be the last time Pavel Datsyuk would take to the ice in the National Hockey League. On June 18th, 2016, Pavel Datsyuk announced that he would be leaving the Detroit Red Wings organization and would be returning home to play in Russia. After 14 seasons in the NHL, Datsyuk was leaving North America and the only NHL franchise he had ever known for a new adventure back home. Then, on July 8th, 2016, it was announced that Pavel Datsyuk had signed a 2-year contract with SKA Saint Petersburg of the KHL. Just like that, Datsyuk was returning to Russia to try his skills in the best hockey league in Europe. The 16-17 season saw Datsyuk suit up for SKA for the first time, as the former 6th-round draft pick scored 12 goals and 22 assists for 34 points in 44 games. This production was good enough to earn Datsyuk a call to his second KHL All-Star game, and also help St. Petersburg make the playoffs. Datsyuk potted 8 points in 7 KHL playoff games as SKA clinched their second Gagarin Cup in franchise history as KHL playoff champions. After almost a decade and a half in North America and 2 Stanley Cup victories to show for it, Datsyuk could now add Russia's most prestigious hockey cup to his trophy cabinet. The 17-18 KHL season saw Datsyuk return to St. Petersburg and score at almost a point per game pace, as the Russian forward notched 8 goals and 27 assists for 35 points in 37 games. Datsyuk also scored 7 points in 15 playoff games, but the defending playoff champions were defeated in the conference finals by CSKA Moscow. After his 2-year contract with St. Petersburg ended, it was announced on April 17, 2018 that Pavel Datsyuk had signed a 1-year contract extension with SKA to remain with the team for a 3rd season. To this day, Pavel Datsyuk continues to play for SKA Saint Petersburg. At the time of this recording, Datsyuk has scored 4 goals and 17 assists for 21 points in 23 regular season games, so he continues to put points on the board at almost a point per game pace, something he seems to have done throughout his career wherever he has played. In terms of what happens after this season, I could see Datsyuk playing another season or maybe 2 in the KHL if he really wanted to, as he clearly still has something to give looking at his stats. But as a 40-year-old player in a league getting younger, and considering he has struggled with a few injuries in the past few seasons, he is clearly in the final years of his playing career, and will likely hang up his skates in one of the seasons in the near future. But even though his exit from the National Hockey League wasn't quite what anyone expected, there's no doubt that Pavel Datsyuk had an incredible NHL career. The Magic Man of Detroit scored 314 goals and 604 assists for 918 points in 953 NHL games, as well as 113 points in 157 playoff games. That's not even mentioning the 4 All-Star Game appearances, the 4 Lady Byng trophies, the 3 Selke trophies, and the 2 Stanley Cups he won too. That's a lot of silverware, ladies and gents. Add to that the 102 points in 168 regular season games in the Russian Super League, and 126 points in 135 regular season KHL games up until this point, and it's clear that when Pavel Datsyuk decides to call it a day and hang up his skates, he will go down in history as one of the greatest ice hockey players of all time. And there you go. That's what happened to Pavel Datsyuk. What do you think about Datsyuk's career? Was it good, bad, or do you wish he had stayed with the Red Wings and retired in Hockeytown? I sure do. Also, is there another player that you would like me to look at in this series? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.